Today to welcome you to 2025 National Small Business Week. We're here to celebrate the Small Business Week. This is a time each year that SBA shines a national spotlight on the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the innovators, who are the backbone of our economy. It's a week of recognition, but also of inspiration, because behind every small business is a story of grit, sacrifice, and resilience. We are especially proud that Administrator Kelly Leffler chose Idaho to kick off our 2025 National Small Business Week tour. That choice is a powerful recognition of the work being done here in our state in Idaho. It's a reflection of our thriving entrepreneurial system and the exceptional business climate that we have built together. We are grateful for the support of our National Small Business Week sponsors, and I'll see if I can do this at the same time. That are here to support it. So Visa, Google, T-Mobile, Square, JP Morgan Chase, Paychex, Constant Contact, Verizon, Amazon, US Bank, Lockheed Martin, and WorldPay. Thank you for recognizing that these small businesses just don't need celebration, but they need real support. A special thanks to Visa, T-Mobile, Verizon, Amazon, and Chase for coming out to Boise and supporting our event. So if you haven't had a chance, go check out their resources for small businesses. So thank you to all our sponsors. I also want to take a moment to thank our Governor, Brad Little, for officially proclaiming this week as National Small Business Week here in Idaho. Proclamation is back on our table if you haven't had a chance to see it. His consistent support for our business community through smart policy and meeting investment is one of the reasons Idaho continues to be the best place in America to start and grow a small business. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the outstanding team here at the Boise District Office. Their passion and dedication is unparalleled in supporting Idaho businesses, whether navigating capital, contracting, or counseling. This team shows up every single day to help entrepreneurs succeed. So my SBDA team, wherever you are, please stand up. You can't do this. And I'm just up here thanking people for like 10 minutes, so bear with me. We also could not do this without our incredible resource partners. They are vital to SBA's mission. The Small Business Development Center, Doug and his team is here today. SCORE is here. Women's Business Center, Paige is out there checking people in. She's always here to help us. Veterans Business Outreach Center. In the past year, this network has accomplished $32.3 million in capital infusion here in Idaho. They have accomplished $59 million in client-generated revenue. They have started over 100 new businesses in Idaho, created 500 jobs, and 3,190 entrepreneurs were served, counseled, or mentored through this network. We also couldn't do it without the lenders in this room. The last fiscal year, they helped deliver $291 million in SBA-backed loans to small businesses. Your role in providing access to capital is critical. Every loan is more than just a transaction that our lenders do. It's a dream funded, a job created, and a community built. Each small business honored today stands on a foundation built by grit, vision, and hard work, but also by the community that believes in them. Thank you to the lenders, our partners, and every collaborator in our business ecosystem who helped make the dream of business ownership in Idaho real. Now it's my honor to introduce someone whose leadership has been pivotal to Idaho's business success. Brad Little is Idaho's 33rd governor, leading the people of Idaho through the most prosperous time in the state's history. A proud Emmett native, Governor Little was raised on his family's sheep and cattle ranch and has worked in the ranching industry throughout his entire life. A graduate of the University of Idaho, go Vandals, with a degree in agribusiness, he brings deep experience in both agriculture and the private sector, including banking and manufacturing. Over the past 3 decades, Governor Little has served in leadership roles across Idaho's agriculture, business, education, and philanthropic communities. First appointed to the Idaho State in 2001, he served 4 terms. Later served as lieutenant governor before becoming our governor in 2019. His tenure has been marked by historic tax relief, bold red tape reduction, and unprecedented investments in workforce training, education, and infrastructure. All with the vision of ensuring Idaho's children and grandchildren can thrive here and choose to stay or come back home and live in Idaho. Please join me in welcoming a steadfast champion of small business and economic opportunity, Governor Brad Little.
Well, good morning. I do want to make a correction. Every week is Small Business Week in Idaho, not just this week. So. You know, this is such an iconic piece of real estate and the view out this window, but there's a lot of big buildings there, but there's a lot of small businesses out that window. You know, they're what lubricates the economy. They're the ones that create better jobs. I think most of you have heard me say when I got this job, when I was applying for this job, a friend of mine said, "What's your one thing?" And I had been lieutenant governor when we had the last major recession. We had 10% unemployment, over 100,000 people out of work. But Teresa and I having been multi-generation Idahoans and having friends and business connections all over the state, the saddest thing I ever heard was when people said their kids were going to leave Idaho and we're going to come back. So as I put together my team, you know, and when you have a bigger organization, you shouldn't make all the decisions. But I told all the candidates, I says, when you come to a fork in the road, if you make a decision to where it's going to be easier for our kids and grandkids to stay in Idaho, you will make the right decision, both in the short term and the long term. And of course, one of the reasons kids stay here in Idaho is they want a good job and a better job, and they want a job for their kids and grandkids. That's where small business comes in. I can't remember which one of them, it must have been Econ 101. You know, all the factors in business, you know, is you know, a plant, whatever that might be, capital, which Small Business Administration is a huge part of that. And I know there's multiple bankers in the room, but labor. And the administrator and I were talking about the president's incredible efforts to reshore, and one of the impediments to reshoring is skilled labor. And that's why this institution is a good example of what we're doing in Idaho, where we're the only state, one of the only states, I think there's two of us, where the go-on rate is going up instead of going down. And you know, that's community colleges, that's career technical, and that's our great four-year institutions all together. That is going to be the human capital that we need to match up with the capital from the Small Business Administration for this state to be successful now and into the future, so more and more of our kids and grandkids will elect to stay here. The part about other people coming in, the jury's still out with me on that part. Governor Cox and I, we have both simultaneously given Gavin Newsom the Realtor of the Year award in both Utah and Idaho. And it continues. I stated in my, people say, well, when I travel, what's the secret in Idaho? And I says, it's cows. I said, what do you mean? It's people from California, Oregon, and Washington flocking into Idaho, mainly because our regulatory, mainly because we do more tax relief than anybody else. Those are the components of our massive success, but it's all on the back of the small business. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for those. Oh, yeah, we need that one.
Let's see how you are on your feet.
Thank you for your remarks and for your unwavering support for Idaho small business. Now it's my honor to introduce someone who has understand the power of entrepreneurship and the importance of listening to small business voices. SBA Regional Administrator Apollo Furman. A native Idahoan, Apollo has a long track record of public service and advocacy. During the first Trump administration, he served as a regional advocate with the SBA Office of Advocacy, working to identify and eliminate unnecessary regulations that stifle small business growth. Apollo has held roles in both the public and private sectors, including at Microsoft, U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Attorney's Office in Seattle, and even professional baseball. So if you see him, feel free to ask on that one. Throughout his career, he has been a tireless advocate for small business, consistently working to ensure that policy supports rather than hinders entrepreneurship. Please welcome Regional Administrator Apollo Furman.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Shannon. Yes, baseball. I was just an athletic trainer, didn't make millions of dollars, throwing everything.
I feel like it was.
Well, going off my speech already. Just keep it short. I feel that working minor league baseball is akin to what we're doing now in administration, we're living on the road. We're changing things. Whatever we need right now, we got to get done today. Planning for today and moving in the future. And that's what actually really helped train me for this job, just living out there and doing what we have. So with that, you can ask me other questions. Some stories I can't tell, so anyway. Thank you, Shannon, for all the work you do here in Idaho. As a regional administrator, it's great coming in knowing that the staff we have here will get the job done. And they're phenomenal. It's great. For more than 60 years, we have taken this week to pause and celebrate the backbone of our economy, recognizing the entrepreneurs, small businesses, and innovative startups that define communities across America. I'm going to keep this short. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce a distinguished leader here today to celebrate the success of everyone in this room and all the hard work you do to create and grow your small businesses. Administrator Kelly Loeffler is an entrepreneur, executive, philanthropist, and a former U.S. Senator from Georgia, who has dedicated her 3-decade career to growing businesses and advance economic opportunity for all. Please join me in welcoming SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Apollo. Thank you, Shannon. Governor, thank you for welcoming me to this beautiful state. And you should know I first got to spend time with Governor Little up at the White House. So he is up there fighting for y'all. And appreciate all he's done to make this state one of the best to start a business in, and for really his focus on keeping families here and workforce development, education, and so much. So really excited to welcome you all to National Small Business Week. This is our 62nd annual. So it's all about celebrating your accomplishments. And really, this week is designed, obviously, to highlight the critical role that small businesses play. But I'm also really excited to kind of use it to highlight some of the work we've done in focusing on Made in America and what's possible here, and just looking at us becoming an even stronger nation. And so thank you for setting the pace here in Idaho as small businesses. Each of you are visionaries. You're not just entrepreneurs, but to be an entrepreneur, you have to have vision. And you represent 99% of all businesses across America. It's 34 million small businesses that create 2 out of every 3 new jobs. So remember that when you see the jobs report that comes out on the first Friday of every month, that was largely generated by small businesses. And we have so much to be grateful to them for. I mean, so many of us got our first jobs at small businesses. They train us. And so whether on Main Street or in the factories, the frontiers of technology, or farms and restaurants, you're leading our products and services that keep this country strong. And you're also taking risks. We recognize that. You're the builders, the doers that get the job done. And no one sees the behind the scenes, the stress that you deal with. But all of it helps make us the most exceptional nation on earth. I understand that because I lived it firsthand. I grew up on our family farm in rural Illinois, corn and soybeans, cattle. I worked alongside my family in those fields and in the feedlots. I pushed a broom in my dad's machine shop. And from a very early age, I took pride in being part of a family business. I loved that work. But I also saw the frustrations, the challenges, as well as the joys and what it meant to be that small business leader in a very small community. I understand that there are no days off. There's no employer-paid vacations. There's no employer-provided health care. And when I went to work on Main Street and finally getting off the farm, because I realized there's air conditioning on Main Street. And I waitressed through high school and college, and then was the first in my family to earn a college degree, and then spent the next few decades in financial services and have helped grow startups, turn startups into Fortune 500 companies. I've started, run, sold, owned my own businesses, been a founding CEO of a tech company, and all those things that have really informed me and my role at the SBA and thinking about what's really important on Main Street. How do we make sure that we are helping you and not getting in your way? Obviously, there's no roadmap for any of small businesses out there. You can't anticipate the challenges that are going to come your way. There's no promise of success, but we all know that if you have grit and faith and hard work, what's possible. And like you, I've signed the front of a paycheck. I've worked nights and weekends, given up that annual vacation, done due diligence meetings on instead of going to a birthday dinner. But that's what's required, and those are really, when I look back in my career in building businesses, those are actually like times I remember as being like, I'm really glad we pushed through that. I've navigated accountants, lawyers, audits, things like that, lots of roadblocks, but all too often it's the taxpayer-funded regulatory state that is the roadblock. And that's why I so strongly believe in free enterprise. The free enterprise that is promoted right here in the state of Idaho and must be protected. And it gives opportunity to anyone who's willing to work to succeed. And I think we have to keep investing in that. That's why I think the SBA is so important. And that's why from day one, my mission at the SBA was really to get back the agency to where its founding was 70 years ago. It was pretty simple. It was empower small business and grow the United States economy. Pretty common sense goals. That's why I'm so incredibly proud to serve as the cabinet level voice for small business in President Trump's incredible administration. But sadly, what happened over the prior 4 years is what happens when Main Street is overregulated, overtaxed, and overlooked. And we saw small businesses pressured needlessly with massive regulation, skyrocketing interest rates and inflation and threats of tax increases in the trillions. Energy independence was taken away, and all kinds of economic uncertainty. So alongside that, access to capital dried up just at the time that more costs were being imposed on small businesses. And I just call that dreams being wrapped in red tape. So we are making sure that now the SBA doesn't lose its focus on Main Street and shift inward. We're shifting the SBA outward, back into the field. Appreciate our great field team here, making sure that it's not all about Washington, it's all about Main Street. And we are making sure fraud no longer goes unchecked, or fraudulent loans are not going to be forgiven anymore. And taxpayer dollars aren't going to go to unqualified recipients. So those setbacks are over. The days of underestimating small businesses are over. And I'm proud to say the SBA is back, and we're focused on accountability and transparency and results, just like you are. And we're really refocusing the agency around performance, not politics, and not politically driven picking winners and losers. In our first 100 days, the SBA loan volume has jumped 80%. I think that's really exciting, because when a small business takes out a loan, they're investing in their future. They believe in their ability to pay it back. And that means that's about 2,000 loans per week to Main Streets across America. So I'm really excited about what we're seeing, small business confidence in hiring. Federal contracting is up about 5 points, going to small businesses. And So I think you can see we have a real commitment to small business. It's not superficial, it's a full-on reset. And we're focused on generating results for taxpayers, which are our small businesses. And we want them to benefit the most. So everything we do at the SBA is part of something bigger. And President Trump's economic agenda of America First is really clear. It's cut taxes, slash regulation, return to fair trade, and unleash American energy independence and dominance. It puts, this is what I love, is it puts job creators ahead of bureaucrats. It puts Main Street ahead of globalists. And it really restores a golden era that we know is possible, but too often in the mainstream media, they're saying we can't do that in America anymore. Well, we all know that we can. And the result of President Trump's strong economic agenda is that inflation, core inflation, is at 4-year lows. Already under his administration, we've created hundreds of thousands of new jobs. And we've seen $8 trillion of investment in infrastructure by major companies, from energy to pharmaceuticals to technology, AI. And as I've talked to those CEOs who are bringing those investments, they say we deploy that money through small businesses because we can't come in and do it alone. This reshoring and onshoring will be driven by small businesses. We've got 75 trading partners back at the negotiating table right now, responding to our demands for fair trade. And that's why I say we're standing on the threshold of a return to the golden era. It's returning freedom and power and opportunity to all of you who build, who hire and train the workforce of the future. And so obviously I'm very excited about the potential because we've been on a nationwide Made in America manufacturing tour. And I am seeing what is happening here and across this country of things being made in America, jobs being created in America, and opportunity being restored to the American worker and American industry. And that's really what it means to put America first. So it's a foundation of a tremendous comeback, and that's going to be our guiding principle, is that the SBA contributes to that. And so I'm really excited to celebrate all the great stories today. That's why I'm here. It's about you. It's about your tenacity, your results, your talent, and your contribution in your local communities, which I know you punch way ahead of your weight on that. And so I'm really excited to bring up these great winners. I know we'll be continuing on with the program, but I just want to assure you I've never been more confident in what's ahead under this incredible administration. I see it firsthand every day. This president cares about Main Street, and we are working really fast and working really hard to deliver those results for everyone. So here's to a great National Small Business Week, and may God bless Idaho, may God bless America. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Administrator Leffler, for your vision, for your leadership, and for coming to Idaho to support our Small Business Week. Now we turn to a very special part of today's program, recognizing 4 outstanding businesses whose stories reflect the resilience, innovation, and heart of Idaho entrepreneurship. Today, we will be presenting awards for the Idaho Small Business Person of the Year, the Boise District Woman-Owned Small Business Person of the Year, the Boise District Veteran-Owned Small Business Person of the Year, and the Boise District Rural-Owned Small Business of the Year. Before each award, you'll hear from the person who nominated the recipient, someone who has worked closely with the entrepreneur through their journey, their challenges, and their achievements. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our nominators today. Your day-to-day support of our local small businesses is invaluable. And by nominating these businesses, you highlight their success to inspire the rest of us. To kick us off, please help me welcome Tobin Dixon, our Deputy District Director for the SBA Boise District Office. Tobin is another proud Idaho native with deep roots in finance, community development, and small business advocacy. Raised, I think our farms were about 10 miles from each other where we were raised in eastern Idaho. So another eastern Idahoan. Raised on a small farm, earned a Bachelor of Science in Finance from the University of Utah, and has had a rich and varied career, including work in banking, small business ownership, and nonprofit leadership. Before joining SBA in 2023, he served as a Western Idaho Area Director for USDA Rural Development, where he focused on rural prosperity and economic opportunity. Please help me welcome Deputy Director Tobin Dixon, who will present this year's Small Business Person of the Year.
Good morning. Well, I have the privilege of introducing SBA's 2025 Idaho National Small Business Person of the Year, but before I jump into that, I want to give you a little bit of the criteria of what it takes to win such an award. First, staying power and response to adversity. This criteria demonstrates dynamic determination, ingenuity, just that strategic thinking to help all small businesses that face those challenges that come up over time. It's a hallmark of leadership. We also consider growth in the number of employees. As Administrator already mentioned, small business employ nearly 2/3 of all of Idaho's labor workforce. And so growth in employees really judges the applicant's contribution to their community's prosperity. We look at increase in sales, which, while a clear indication of a business's vitality, is really also a benchmark for the value the business brings to their clientele. And finally, the award celebrates not just business acumen, but also the spirit of giving back. The Small Business Person of the Year must demonstrate significant contributions to community-oriented projects, often going beyond their professional endeavors to giving up the most valuable personal time of them, and to make their community just a better place for all. So it's a very important criteria. The individual we honor today definitely embodies these qualities. Patrick Buchanan of Buchanan Insurance and Financial Services is a testament to the power of work and innovation and a deep commitment to both his business and the communities he serves. It's interesting, but all these great stories we're hearing this morning seem to start on small rural farms or small rural communities. And no different for Patrick. His story begins in a small farming town of Walla Walla, Washington. Growing up on his grandparents' family farm alongside his parents and 3 sisters, he learned hard work, innovation, community, deep commitment to his family and his community. His story then goes on to Gonzaga University, where he enrolled in civil engineering as well as in the Army ROTC program. Upon graduation, he was awarded Army Officer Commission in the Army Signal Corps as a 2nd lieutenant. He honorably served his country for 5 years with 3 active deployments, rising to the rank of captain before completing his commitment. After a stint in the contracting world, in 2009, Patrick shifted gears and embarked on an entrepreneurial journey, establishing Buchanan Insurance and Financial Services in the small town of Ketchum, Idaho. It was from this single location that Patrick's commitment to his community really spurred on incredible growth. In 2012, he opened his Haley location. In 2018, his Twin Falls location. In 2024, his Jerome location. And through this process of growth, he was supported along the way by SBA 7A loan guarantee program, helping him to make some crucial acquisitions and team expansion. But the story of Buchanan Insurance and Financial Services is also about resilience and unwavering commitment. Patrick successfully started this endeavor during the 2008 financial turmoil. He also survived, of course, the global pandemic that affected all of our small businesses. And SBA's Paycheck Protection Program, as well as the COVID IO program, were lifelines to him, allowing his agency to maintain operations, preserve jobs, and continue serving the communities that rely on his services. Finally, Patrick's commitment extends far beyond the doors of his agency. He actively invests in the well-being of his community through generous donations to local charities. He volunteers with Higher Ground, a nonprofit organization that transforms lives of veterans through therapeutic recreation and education. He volunteers with the Senior Center in Haley and with the YMCA free ride program, it's called, to help teach kids how to ski. His leadership is also evident in his service on the board of the local Chamber of Commerce, including past president, and his contributions to 2 economic development organizations, Sun Valley Economic Development and Fly Sun Valley Alliance, actively shaping a brighter future for his communities. And furthermore, he fosters a culture of giving back within his team. not only encouraging his employees to volunteer for nonprofit work during business hours, but mentoring those that have interest and acumen to potentially start their own small businesses. There were many letters of recommendation that came with Patrick's nomination, but I believe Mike McKenna, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce there in Haley and Wood River Valley, said it best. There haven't been many local business owners in the Wood River Valley who have had as large and lasting an impact as Patrick Buchanan has. In short, our community is a stronger place to live and work because people like Patrick lead the way. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome SBA's 2025 Idaho Small Business Person of the Year, Patrick Buchanan.
Yes, of course. Then we'll do the photo walk.
I wasn't planning on a speech.
Only if you want to, Patrick.
I have to be honest with you. I actually just got to see Administrator Leffler at 1 o'clock yesterday. I think you beat me here. You want to know the real story is my flight out of Reagan got delayed 3 hours. And so I missed my connection in Minneapolis. And so I was able to get a flight to Spokane. I was in Spokane at 12 o'clock this morning. And Hertz took good care of me, and I got a car. And I drove 6.5 hours. And I put my suit on, and I showed up. You can't make it up. Well, I guess, just to say thank you to Governor Little and the SBA and actually U.S. Bank who supported me in this. It's been a long, hard road, about 16 years, and I appreciate it. Really, I just wanted to say a couple things and a lot of thanks. What we've said is definitely the backbone. It's a privilege to be a small business owner, right? For me, it gives me the security. A lot of people feel like, hey, I need to punch my card, punch my time card because that's my security. I love the idea of getting up and creating my own agenda, creating my own success, and creating my own security in that way. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my community, right? The Chamber of Commerce and my community that supports me in my business. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my friends and family and my co-pilot, my wife there who rode 6 hours with me, waking up, making sure I was still awake. And my team. I've got a team of 16 employees that have helped me out along the way. Probably have had a lot more of that we've parted ways. We've set free along the way. I learned a lesson from everybody. But I think the takeaway is, and I like to say this, is as long as you've got discipline, right, you can do this. But you really need to have a vision, right? You need to know where you're going. And so I just want to leave you with this. Dream big, dream real big. Because without, your body will never go where your mind has never been. Thank you.
And that right there is entrepreneurial grit and resilience. Thank you for your efforts, Patrick. And thank you. Your leadership and entrepreneurial success are a true reflection of the best of Idaho business, and we're honored. And thank you again for making the trek to be here this morning. Our next award is for the Boise District Women-Owned Small Business Person of the Year. And to introduce this award, I'm pleased to welcome Debbie Winkler, Senior Business Consultant of the Idaho Small Business Development Center. Debbie joined the Idaho SBDC in 2008, bringing with her a wealth of experience from both the public and private sectors. Before her time with the SBDC, she worked in her family's firm, Boise Business Consulting, and held leadership positions in banking, including Senior Vice President of National Consumer Training at Bank of America and Vice President and Manager of Business Banking at First Republic Bank. A proud graduate of the University of Texas at Austin, Debbie has spent her career helping businesses thrive, and today she continues that tradition by shining a light on one of the most outstanding women-owned businesses in Idaho. Please welcome Debbie Winkler.
Good morning. I was watching everybody up here and I wondered if I was going to be tall enough to speak in this properly, so this is good. I've got the right shoes on today. Good morning, everybody. I have the pleasure today of shining a spotlight on an exceptional business, Fluff Hardware, started and led by an amazing woman, Solimer Palm. And I just call her Soli. We've gotten to know each other quite a bit over the last 2.5 years. So it's been really a privilege for me to work with Soli for almost 2.5 years now. And for today, just really to have the opportunity to nominate her for the Women-Owned Small Business Person of the Year. And I'm going to share a story with you that I think you'll all realize why I nominated her. Just definitely a privilege, and I'm very proud to be able to do it. So Soli and I started working together about 2.5 years ago in February of 2023. The business was growing quickly, and Soli recognized that she needed to help the business by building her own knowledge and expertise in business skills. She came into all this with a design background, a creative background, but no business background. And she sought out the SBDC. Our first appointment, she walked into my office and sat down, and I said, give me the background. What are we doing? What's going on? And she said, I'm creative, I do design work, I have no business background. She said, I've realized I've got to build my business background and my business skills if I'm going to keep my business growing and be successful. So we started working together. We just dug in and kind of what we call working sessions. We started with doing strategic assessment and planning, spent probably a half a dozen working meetings doing that. And from that, we created a work plan and focused on action items for the next 2 years, very specifically designed to address operations, marketing and sales, and the financial needs of the business. And just started working on all of the key parts that Soli wanted to work on in all of that. So it's been a lot of work, a bit of an amazing journey, and she's been great to work with. So I'll give you a little bit of background on Soli. So she's an Idaho native. She is the daughter of Christina, a Mexican-American single mother who raised her to be hardworking and creative. Soli credits her mom with her creative flair and her work ethic, both of which she says have enabled her success with the business. Soli has been happily married to Wes for 14 years, and they have a 9-year-old daughter, Alma, who's also here today. Soli attended Boise State University. She graduated from Portland State with a degree in speech and hearing sciences. And before starting Fluff Hardware, she worked for the nonprofit Family Advocates in Boise. And her passion for empowering women through jewelry resulted from her time working at Family Advocates. So just kind of all makes sense when you hear that and you think about her design and creativity in business. So now just a little bit about the business. So Fluff Hardware specializes in handmade women's jewelry, soft goods, and women's accessories. Fluff's specialty is their handmade vintage and nature-inspired jewelry, including earrings, necklaces, bracelets, cuffs, and hairpins. And Fluff also offers a carefully curated selection of women's accessories and gift items. Soli started the business in 2011, was not on a farm. It was in her living room. She started designing and making jewelry and selling jewelry as a hobby. In early 2021, so fast forward 10 years, right, she opened her first retail store and started to grow. Today, she has grown Fluff Hardware to become a well-known brand in Boise with 2 beautiful retail stores in high-profile locations. She has 1 store in Hyde Park. She has another one on Idaho Street just off 8th. And she has a production studio in their offices in Garden City. She established an e-commerce website that has enabled international growth. Their website and social media pages feature their stores and over 100 handmade jewelry designs. They have expanded to over 520 wholesale accounts in the United States, Canada, and Australia. And her growth also includes local, 25 local and regional craft fairs, music festivals, and trade shows that they do annually. And on an ongoing basis, they hold DIY jewelry parties, kind of, we'll call it create and sip, that take place at just local business and venues all over Boise. She's grown from starting and running the business on her own to now providing jobs for 17 employees, with 2 of those roles being managers that she has worked with and developed. Solely gives back to the community by supporting 6 Northwest-based women empowering nonprofit organizations through their for-purpose collection. They donate 30% of earring sales from that collection to those organizations. And every year on Giving Tuesday in November, on November 3rd, Fluff donates 70% of their sales from the for-purpose collection to nonprofits. So she just kind of hit it all. She may just be design and creative, as she says, but very, very smart, very intuitive, and she's just made many, many right moves. So wow, right? I mean, just a lot of great things going on. So now it's both a privilege and a pleasure for me to introduce all of you to Solomon Palm, the Woman-Owned Small Business Person of the Year.
Well, I'm going to end up repeating some of the things that Debbie shared, but first of all, I want to thank you so much. To be honored and nominated by somebody like you, who I look up to so greatly, is a huge honor, and I appreciate it so much. It means so much. So I am deeply humbled to be named Woman-Owned Small Business Person of the Year, and this award is not just mine. It is my daughter's, my husband's, my mom's, my team. I have an incredible team of 17 brilliant, strong women that have helped me come as far as I have come, as far as the business has come. And the customers, the support that we receive here in Boise and in Idaho generally. We travel so far in Idaho and surrounding states, and we have a fan base of women all around the area, all around the different places we travel to, who are so excited to see us and send photos and tell us about the adventures that they go on wearing our jewelry. And it's so inspiring, and it's one of the big reasons that I continue to do what we do. So I started Fluff Hardware in 2011 in my living room on my coffee table, just making jewelry for fun. Fueled by a love of jewelry and a desire to build something meaningful for women, for all the women I knew. I was raised by my single mom, Christina over here, who came to the United States from deep poverty in Mexico. Her strength, resourcefulness, and determination to create a better life for myself and my sister shaped everything that I am and who I am today. She showed me what it means to persevere and to never be afraid to go after what you want, even though you might not know how. That spirit became the foundation of my business, Fluff Hardware. It's a business built to help women feel bold, seen, and empowered to take up space in a world that too often tells us to feel small. What began as a fun hobby is now a team of 17 with my 2 retail stores in central downtown Boise. We have a production studio in Garden City where a team of gals is there right now watching on Instagram. Pause, watch, hi girls. They're there making the jewelry that women you'll see around town. I bet you there's at least 4 or 5 women in this room, besides for my friends and family, wearing my jewelry, our jewelry. So we have our production studio with our team there. We have the retail team and our events team. We have hundreds of wholesale partners across the globe and a mission-driven jewelry line, like Debbie said, that gives back 30% of the purchase price to organizations that support women and girls' empowerment. We've grown through trial, error, and resilience, and a whole lot of hustle. The Idaho SBDC and the SBA have been critical to our growth. Debbie, every meeting I come to Debbie, I'm like, this happened, what am I supposed to do? And she has helped me solve and tackle so many of the challenges of a person that doesn't have the background or the education. I got my degree in speech and hearing sciences with the intention of becoming a speech language pathologist, and that education didn't quite transfer over to running this business that I have. So Debbie has been critical and paramount in helping me figure out how to do all the things. Especially in becoming a more confident leader. I had been in a small leadership role in the nonprofit that I worked for previously, but nothing like what I have taken on today. So Debbie has been incredible, and so I don't know where I would be without her. I just want to say that to any woman aspiring, or young girl for that matter, aspiring to be an entrepreneur, don't be afraid to ask for help. You don't have to know everything, but at the very minimum, you have to start. You have to just go for it. In closing, this award affirms the power of purpose-driven business. I'm so grateful to be a part of a community that uplifts women and small business and creativity especially. Thank you again so much, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Fluff Hardware and all the women on our team. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much. What an inspirational story of Soli, her wonderful mother, her all the qualities she passed on, and I think it's a true testament. I think every time I do a speech or a workshop or a training, I cannot speak without telling people, please go see one of our business advisors. Go see a small business development center. Go see the Women's Business Center. Go see SCORE. Small businesses don't know what they don't know. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of challenges. And we have the best business advisors in the country, hands down. I'll sing it to the mountains. And I think this is just such a true testament, seeing how Debbie helped Soli accomplish her dreams and all the work that our partners do to get small businesses to that next level. Great story. Thank you, ladies. Let's see, where am I got caught up in your story, Soli. Now I'm lost. So congratulations again. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the next nominator for the Boise District Rural-Owned Small Business of the Year, Danae Climbs of D.L. Evans Bank. Danae brings with her 26 years of banking experience, including the past 7 years as a commercial and ag lender in Idaho's Magic Valley. She is a dedicated Idaho native and volunteer supporting local causes such as Project Succeed and the Twin Falls Optimist Club. Danae lives in Kimberly with her husband and 2 sons, Riley, a junior at the University of Idaho, and Nolan, a senior at Kimberly High. Her commitment to rural businesses, development, and to her community makes her the perfect presenter for this award. Please welcome Danae Klein.
Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here today to introduce Robin Kelly Rausch and Gretchen Kelly Beets, the owners and operators of Kelly's Canyon Orchard, as the Rural Small Business of the Year. I had the opportunity to begin working with Robin and Gretchen a little over 2 years ago when another colleague left the bank and their account needed a new relationship officer. While we had not previously met, our personal history goes all the way back to the late 60s when our fathers were fraternity brothers at the University of Idaho. Go Vandals. And additionally, early in my banking career, I had the opportunity to work with our mother, so our personal connection goes way back. Naturally, I was thrilled to take over the relationship at D.L. Evans Bank, and we were able to help Kelly's with a SBA Express revolving line of credit for their seasonal working capital needs. Robin and Gretchen's connection to rural Idaho, their agricultural roots, and efforts to expand agribusiness throughout Idaho and the Pacific Northwest make them uniquely qualified for this award. Their business, which they will expand upon, is a niche agricultural business located in southern Idaho with a long and rich history. Like all agricultural businesses, they are faced each day with weather issues, potential for crop failure, market price fluctuation, high equipment and input costs, and imposing competition from regional, national, and international levels. Raised at the orchard that they now own and operate in southern Idaho, they learn the value of hard work, grit, and tenacity. When faced with challenges, and there have been many, they dig in, work harder, and search for solutions to keep moving not only forward, but upward. They've diversified and expanded their business to include additional revenue streams that are more hardy and less susceptible to weather influences. They've added irrigation infrastructure to help their operation become more efficient with that precious resource we call water, and added equipment to protect their fragile fruit, buds, and blooms from the unpredictable spring weather patterns that can wipe out the entire crop in one cold night. Beyond Kelly's Canyon Orchard, they're individually entrepreneurs on their own levels and own small businesses, not to mention wives, mothers, community leaders, and all-around delightful individuals. At heart, they are Kelly Orchard girls with big hearts, strong backs, and a passion for their small business and southern Idaho. It's my great pleasure to be here today to honor their accomplishments and introduce them as the 2025 Idaho Rural Small Business Persons of the Year.
I get to go first. You get a two-part series here. First of all, good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you. Yeah. This is a participatory crowd here. Okay. Thank you, Danae. Without her, we wouldn't be here for lots of reasons. Let me just breathe. I'm going to share a little bit about our story. We are rooted in history and family. Just 2 days from now, we will celebrate a huge celebration on May 8th, as we were established on May 8th, 1908, by a great-grandfather who who came over from Pennsylvania, and his family orchard that was established in the late 1700s. Gorley Orchards came from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and I feel like that orchardist lifeline is with us at all times. And so our history is so deep, back to the late 1700s, of being orchardists with tenacity and resilience that I think is in our DNA. Our property is nestled in the Snake River Canyon outside of Filer, this side of Twin Falls. And it has been nurtured and cared for by 4 generations. We are generation 4, and we are raising the 5th. So many people ask us daily, how do you do this? How do you do this? Danae inferenced that we also juggle our own careers and have our own consultancies as entrepreneurs. We live off farm, not with our own intention. It's called health insurance. And we manage this. We manage our sense of place and our orchard from miles away. And we make hot trips on that road and become very good at it. We are resilient. We practice resiliency daily due to the many challenges and multi-year crop losses, which is why, one of the many reasons why we have relied on the SBA, so thank you for that. We have been a small business from the roots, all the way back when, as I've already described, and we can answer the how. The how is the easy part. The how of the SBA advisors and that guidance is the easy part. The piece that must be asked every day is the why. It's the purpose, as was alluded to by Mr. Buchanan, so thank you for that. Our why, my why, is emotional. It creates a physical response, obviously. And it is words that are very hard to express. And it is about the place, the sense of place. We are nestled right along the Snake River, across from Niagara Springs. We have homes. We have the coulee that our great-grandfather named in his namesake when he was establishing our first water right. And it is filled with great beauty and challenges every day. And yet, the why is filled with a great sense of joy and happiness. We bring beautiful things to life for us, for you, and for our community. With peony flowers, cherries, peaches, plums, nectarines, pears, apples. These items, these fruits of our nature, bring joy and happiness. It is biting into the perfectly ripe tree-ripened peach, and the juice is dripping from your chin, and seeing that in the people in which we serve, and they're like, you have ruined me for life. I will never, ever stop by a store-bought peach again. I'm like, that's right. Yes, you won't.
You won't.
You will not. This is our why. The journey is with my sister, my husband, our kids, and our mom, and our dedicated seasonal employees that I try to bring back every year. And in honor of my late father, our late father, who taught me everything about sales, don't leave a podium without making a pitch. For the first time in several years, we do have a full crop, and you are welcome to come visit us in the Snake River Canyon. We're open to the public. We have an on-farm farm stand, and we are opening with our inaugural crop of fresh peony blooms next week. And so come visit us. You're invited. We do have Airbnb homes for stays for you to escape the Treasure Valley and come to the Magic Valley. And we have a full fruit crop, and it is by the graces of all kinds of things that we do. And I also sell at the Boise Farmers Market, so look for me in mid-June.
I'm usually the crier, so I'm glad that I'm not today. I have the pleasure of saying our thanks, and so I'm going to start with 4 men. 117 years ago, John Steele Gurley leveraged the power of good governance for the benefit of his community and his family through the Carey Act, and established what was Gurley's Orchard and now is Kelly's Canyon Orchard. I want to thank Richard Kelly, the big personality that he was, for his passion, his dedication, and his big dreams. I want to thank Brian Roush and Forrest Beats for their patience, their incredible skills, their willingness to continually invest. Those are our husbands, in case you haven't picked up on that. And love, as they have dedicated years of family vacations and sweat equity, and I mean sweat equity, with the knowledge that they compete with a piece of land for our affections. I want to thank 3 amazing women. Susan Kelly Harbkey, AKA Grammy Good Sport, for always showing up and bringing a good attitude. I want to thank Danae, who has taught us the power and good fortune of an excellent banker. It's a relationship we didn't have before, and it is incredibly supportive and confidence building. I want to thank Robin. Okay, now I can't look at her. There is no better partner in the world. It's hard to have words for the most powerful woman I know. To me, Robin is like the Army, and I mean the entire Army. She does more before 9 a.m., before anybody or all of us collectively can do in a day, and I'm not kidding. She does so with passion, dedication, high expectations, and it shows. Our orchard, and it's only 12 acres. Our orchard experience is exceptional because of her work and her dedication every day, and I'm so lucky. And now I want to thank our community. The first time my daughter, who is a city kid, she grew up in the orchard, but for weekends and weeks at a time, and not her life like I did, because I was selling fruit when I was 6 and could count pennies for change, or younger maybe. The first time she worked the fruit stand when she was 14, her first customer pulled up slowly and took a long time to get out of the car. They had white hair, and they asked if they could slowly park and gently park in the orchard so that they could still pick from their walkers. And they talked about the joy of picking fruit with their parents and their grandparents. And when I walked down to check on her, she was in tears, and she said, "Now I get why we do this." That is about our community that has supported us so beautifully, and we're so grateful for the multiple generations, the family friends, the new-to-towners, the adventure seekers, the picnickers, the canning enthusiasts, and the lovers of high-quality agricultural experiences. We say thanks.
Thank you, ladies, for such a humbling story, and that will definitely be one of my summer road trips to get a peach, so thank you. To present our final award today, I'm honored to welcome one of my friends, Isaac Belder, founder of Veteran Entrepreneur Alliance. Isaac is a dedicated advocate for the military community, specializing in helping veterans transition into successful roles as entrepreneurs. As a veteran himself, he knows firsthand the unique strengths former service members bring to the business: resilience, discipline, and leadership. Through the Veterans Entrepreneur Alliance, Isaac, let me get his picture up here real quick. Hi, sorry ladies, I missed that one. Isaac has built a powerful support network that provides veterans with access to mentorship, tools, and community, helping them turn bold ideas into thriving businesses. His innovative leadership has made a lasting impact here in Idaho and beyond. Please welcome Isaac Belden.
Good morning, everybody. I want to start by saying I've heard a lot about East Idaho today, so I want to make a point to say North Idaho native here, Bonners Ferry, basically Canada. So if there's anybody else in the house, you're not alone. So my name is Isaac Belden. I'm the founding executive director of the Veteran Entrepreneur Alliance. And I want to apologize up front. This is going to sound like I'm presenting an award to myself, but it all comes full circle, I promise. So we're a nonprofit based here in Idaho with a big mission. We help veterans and veteran spouses build thriving businesses, and through that, we give them back a sense of mission and purpose after their time in uniform is over. We believe that Idaho is an incredible place to do this. There are so many great things about here just on a surface level, but most recently, as of January 1, we stopped taxing veteran retirement benefits in Idaho, which is incredible and long overdue. That will help us attract and retain Idaho's veterans in general. We have a really great property tax benefit for 100% service-connected disabled veterans in Idaho. If the governor was still here, I was going to check in on my application status as the veteran representative for the Idaho Workforce Development Council. So I'm working on that. And I'm also honored to sit on the ACVBA with the SBA. I was one of the sole surviving members after they reorganized, me and two others, where I take what we're doing here in Idaho and talk about it on a national stage, which is incredible, and hopefully we can inspire others to do what we're trying to do here. So before I go any further, I want to thank Administrator Loeffler, as well as the local SBA staff and Shannon, and everybody else that made this event possible today. Leadership like yours makes these events possible. It gives us an opportunity to shine a light on the people that are making a difference in our communities. Obviously, I'm going to talk about a lot about the veteran community today because that is kind of my world. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the why. Why does the VEA exist? The truth is, too many veterans return home and find themselves lost, struggling to rediscover their place in the civilian world. The structure, the clarity of purpose, the brotherhood and sisterhood, all of that begins to disappear in an instant. And without a new mission, some of us simply don't make it. Promised myself I wasn't going to curse and I wasn't going to cry. I promise I'm not going to curse because I've already screwed up one of them. We lose our brothers and sisters to suicide, addiction, and a slow erosion of self-worth. We find ourselves asking, what are we doing? Why does it matter? After I've done what I've done, after I've been where I've been, what am I doing now that moves the needle for me or anyone else in the same way that it did before? And I'm here to tell you today that your service doesn't stop when you leave the military. It just changes. You can just change the way that you serve. So that lack of sense of mission and purpose, I was almost one of those statistics. Too many times I was on that edge trying to decide whether or not I wanted to go another day. And it was entrepreneurship, it was business, it was finding a purpose and a mission through that put me back on a good track, on a healthy track. And so we don't have to lose so many strong men and women, so many dedicated men and women, so many loving men and women to this disease. So that's why we do what we do at the VEA. We don't just teach business skills, we help veterans find a new fight worth showing up for. And this isn't a new idea. Some of you may know, I hope some of you do, and if you don't, now you will. After World War II, nearly 50% of returning veterans became entrepreneurs or started working in family businesses. That post-war generation helped launch what is now widely recognized as the golden age of the American economy. They started companies, they built communities, and they created jobs in every corner of this country. In many ways, they helped power America's rise. We believe that veterans can do it again. And if you're looking for proof, you don't have to look too far, because today I have the honor of introducing someone who embodies that mission, Derek Ellis. Derek is the founder and CEO of Vessel, a veteran-owned company based right here in Boise, just a couple blocks down. What he and his team are building is not just impressive, it's essential, absolutely essential. Vessel is reshaping American manufacturing by helping companies reshore production, streamline supply chains, and adapt quickly through modular, plug-and-play technology solutions. In a time where resilience and domestic strength matter more than ever, Derek is helping America build smarter and stronger. But I'm not just introducing Derek as an award winner today. I'm introducing him as a VEA member, a board member, and a friend who stood with me and this organization for the last 7 years. He's mentored our members, sat on our panels, and consistently looked for ways his technology can serve the veteran entrepreneur community. His support has been unwavering, and his belief in our mission is real. Derek, you represent the best of what's possible when veterans are given the tools and the space to lead again. Your work is creating impact on a national scale, and your example is inspiring the next generation of veteran entrepreneurs to rise up and build. Congratulations on this well-earned recognition from the SBA. We're proud to stand beside you today and every day. Derek.
Didn't want to be emotional this morning, but it's really hard with the other award winners today and with all of my friends in the room. So let me see if I can keep this together. Thank you, Isaac, for your generous introduction, steadfast friendship, and for the vital work VA does each day to give service members a better shot at business success. Thank you to the Idaho leaders here in the room, our community, who serve veterans and small businesses and their families every day. Along with the SBA, this turned a dream called Vessel into a company that now helps manufacturers across the U.S. I'm deeply honored to accept this award from the SBA. Administrator Loeffler, it's a privilege to have you here with us today. Your journey from family farm to Wall Street, the Senate, and now the SBA shows what happens when work ethic and leadership meets opportunity. Thank you for reigniting America's spirit of free enterprise. Vessel started in Boise in 2017. 4 years ago, COVID crushed our revenue, so we pivoted multiple times. We've been helping consultants and agencies diagnose manufacturers' needs and connect them to resources. But the process was slow and manual, and we didn't have a lot of money to do so. As the economy reopened, we reevaluated our skills. We turned to the SBA for a crucial loan at the time, and we were able to keep the lights on. This covered our payroll, and we were able to move forward. It helped us transform a workflow into software the whole industry can use. Today, Vessel's AI platform unifies data-rich AI assessments with supply chain intelligence, cutting a multi-day diagnostic to under an hour. Instant scores, benchmarking, and smart recommendations mean one advisor now helps 3 times the manufacturers they could before, keeping production onshore and providing greater impact per dollar. I grew up in southeast Idaho, another southeastern, in a rural community. I served in the Air Force, and I believe discipline and duty live on long after the uniform comes off. That promise is shared by 12,000 veteran-owned firms here in Idaho and 1.6 million nationwide. Made in the USA isn't just a tagline for Vessel and our partners. It's a commitment to the people who wear our flag, our communities, and the manufacturing boots on the ground. As an SBA certified veteran-owned business, we feel a duty to build technology that advances the Made in America manufacturing initiative. Vessel's patriotism shows up daily. Our team supports the U.S. industry when it matters most. We've donated over $300,000 in local schools and nonprofits. And in the past year, we've expanded into 6 states with the potential of impacts on over 27,000 small manufacturers. Administrator Loeffler, the SBA team, and every partner dedicated to the U.S. manufacturing space. Vessels here and ready to serve. Backed by nationwide work with MEP centers and agencies, associations, universities, and consulting groups, we offer both our expertise and our technology. Vessel stands ready to serve. To the leaders who have walked with us, the Vessel crew, our families, and every partner who shares this mission, we have fought hard together to get here, and you are the heartbeat of what we do. Your sacrifices are seen and honored. I'm proud to partner with the revitalized SBA. Together, we'll keep Made in the USA meaningful and fight for every small manufacturer who dares to dream big. Thank you for this incredible honor. Let's build a bright future together.
Thank you to both Isaac and Derek. Thank you both for your service for our country and for everything you do for entrepreneurs and the veteran community in Idaho. You have me in tears. Just thank you both for everything. We are honored to now present each awardee. So if each of the awardees can come back up. With the letter of recognition from U.S. Senator James Risch, a longtime champion of Idaho's small business community. U.S. Senator Jim Risch, I've got to get better at this. There we go. He's currently serving his third term as Idaho's 28th senator and is a proud Nether Vandal University of Idaho graduate. He is a former Idaho State Senator, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor. In Washington, D.C., Senator Risch is a leading voice on legislation that shapes Idaho and the West. He is a former chairman and current member of the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, where he works to reduce regulations and support small business growth. He also serves on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, giving Idaho a seat at the table on critical energy, land use, and natural resource decisions. Outside of public service, Senator Risch is a rancher, a small business owner, and most importantly, a proud husband, father, and grandfather. We are grateful for Senator Risch for taking the time to acknowledge this special occasion and honoring our awardees this morning. He is currently in session in D.C., so we are very honored to have his director, Sydney Sterling, here to present the letters of his recognition. Welcome, Sydney.
Good morning, friends. It's been a great morning so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. Congratulations to all the awardees and everyone presenting. I think it speaks true to the power and the influence small businesses have here in Idaho. Today I'm also joined with Senator Risch's Communications Director, Madison Hardy, and on behalf of the Senator, Madison and I want to welcome Administrator Loeffler here and her team to Idaho. I hope you come to love it and appreciate it as much as the Senator does. I mean, what's not to love? So, Senator Risch wishes he could be here today to deliver these remarks himself and welcome each of you to this gathering, honoring these incredible small business owners of Idaho. As you may know, the Senator is a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, prior chairman of the committee, and he truly believes that small businesses are the backbone of our economy as well as the heart of our communities. They create jobs, drive innovation, and contribute to the unique character of our state. Today we celebrate not just the successes of our Idaho entrepreneurs, but their resilience, creativity, and commitment to making Idaho a better place to live and work. As we recognize the hard work of small business owners, let's remember that they are more than just statistics. They are our friends, neighbors, and family members. Each business tells a story of dedication and passion, and it is essential that we continue to support them in every way possible. Together, we can ensure that Idaho remains a thriving environment for small businesses to flourish. In addition to his congratulations, as Director Madsen said, I do have a letter to each of the recipients from Senator Risch offering his congratulations. So again, congrats on behalf of the Senator. Thank you, Director Madsen, for putting on a wonderful event, and let's continue to support our small businesses moving forward. Thanks, everyone.
As we conclude today's ceremony, I want to thank all of you for being here to celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and building Idaho's small business community. To our partners, our nominators, our lenders, our collaborators, thank you for building and supporting the ecosystems that make this success possible. Thank you, Administrator Leffler, for coming to Idaho and bringing your leadership with you. To our award winners, congratulations. That's one last one. I think we all heard that each and every story reflect Idaho entrepreneurism, the grit, the passion, the dedication. It's why Idaho is the best state. I challenge anybody. Thank you again, everybody coming out to celebrate our small business, and have a wonderful small business week.
Thank you.